What is up, everybody? This is Erik, the one and only bear collector, and today I'm gonna be reviewing two games that need no introduction and are amongst one of my all-time favorite games ever. And those games are Kirby's Dream Land for the Game Boy and Kirby's Adventure for the NES. Wow, two legendary games, in my opinion. Two very legendary games. But let's take a look at each game individually. First, let's take a look at Kirby's Dream Land. Now, Kirby's Dream Land was developed by HAL Laboratory and Nintendo back in 1992. This is the very first game that introduces the legendary Kirby into the series. And now this game is pretty much the game you control Kirby out to save the land and save the food from the King DDD. Sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong, or King DDD. Who has stolen all the food in the land, and Kirby has to go and rescue the food. As well as, I want to say this one, restore some of the star pieces that King DDD took. Um, the game is composed of about 5 levels. Each level at the end, you defeat a boss. Now, one of the interesting things about Kirby's Adventure is that in the game, one of the bosses is Lolo and Lala from Adventures of Lolo, which is another game that was developed by HAL Laboratories. Now, I did a video of Adventures of Lolo a while back, so take a look at that one video. That's another cool series in itself that I believe needs to be revamped nowadays. But anyways, yes, very fun 2D side-scrolling platformer. Now this one, you have special power-ups that you gain to defeat enemies, and of course you have your flight ability when you turn into that puff, that ball, and then you puff out the air and use that also as a weapon. Very, very fun game, albeit it's very, very easy. It does have an extra mode. Once you beat the game, they'll show you a hint on how to access the hard mode, and then you're able to play it on a little bit of a tougher challenge. But all in all, a very fantastic game. One of those games that you need to have in your Game Boy collection, and you need to play it. I gotta say, for both games, these are games you gotta play before you die. One of those games that you gotta play. And if you haven't played it or you haven't heard from the series, you may be living under a rock. No offense, but it's a very common series. The next game I got, Kirby's Adventure for the NES. Now, this game came out back in 1993, a year later from this one. And it's not necessarily a sequel. I count it as a sequel, but it's not officially because there's Kirby's Dream Land 2. But anyways, developed by HAL in 1993. This time around, Kirby has to collect the lost pieces of the Star Rod from King DDD. Very fun game. This is the game that introduced the copy abilities in color, and now you see that Kirby is now pink. One of the creators' choice of colors, that they were impressed that they used pink, but that's what he wanted it to the character to be looking like, Gotta say, it's a very fun 2D side-scrolling platformer. You have 8 levels on this one, eight maps, each composed of different levels. It also introduces like hidden levels, hidden areas to go and explore. Very fun game that I highly recommend. One of the best games on the NES, in my opinion. Now, going back to my memories from when I was a kid, this game, I always carried it. I remember early on when I bought a Game Boy, I always had this in my Game Boy case with other games. This is a game that I always had fun playing whenever I was bored. I could pop it in like 20 minutes. I could beat it and pass it. Kirby's Adventure, another game that I go to play. One of the go-to games whenever I test emulators. I always go for this is one of the games that I go for to test out emulators to make sure that it runs properly for the NES, because this game runs it's very, very colorful, very fast paced, very fun. And so if you're able to play it comfortably in an emulator, you got a good one with that one. But going back to my memories as a kid, used to own a complete copy when I was a kid for both of them actually, and had them in my collection until, of course, that moment in time when I had to get rid of it. But this was a game that I never gave up on, that I've always held dear into my heart, and one of those games that brings me back to when I was a kid, a preteen, around that time. And same with this one. A lot of fun memories playing this one in Mexico as well. Really fun games. Highly recommend these. If you haven't played these, man, you guys are missing out. There's a lot of many different ways you can play these games, because they've remade these games over the years on the Game Boy Advance, on the Wii, on compilations. So you're able to get these. Now, later down the line, I've played every single Kirby game. Almost every single Kirby game that there is that's based off, this style. And I believe I own almost every single Kirby game, with the exception of, I want to say I don't own Kirby's Dreamland 2. I used to own it, but I used to own them at one point. Kirby's Dreamland 2, I don't own it. I don't own Kirby's Dreamland 3 on the Super Nintendo, and I don't own Kirby's All-Star, the one that has all the Super Nintendo games. I think I do own it. I can't remember. I may own it. But in any rate, over the span of the channel, I will review more Kirby games as time goes by. But for now, I will be reviewing these two. Hope you guys enjoy the gameplay footage of the game. I had a lot of fun going back and playing these games. But anyways, this has been Erik the Bear Collector. Hope you guys enjoy the video. Take care. Peace out. So one more thing I didn't realize that I forgot to mention was that as of the making of this video, Kirby's Dreamland is a game that's too expensive to own. I was rather blown away by the fact that this is too expensive to own, because at one point this game wasn't that expensive at all. Kirby's Adventure used to be a game that was too expensive to own, but it seems to have dropped off a little bit in value, but is gaining back the track of being an expensive game. But all in all, great games, you guys, that you can either emulate or play or buy if you wish. But they're well worth it. So anyways, again, I'm sorry for forgetting this point. This has been Erik, the one and only Bear Collector. You guys take care. Peace out. Peace out.
You